Hello and welcome to the BYU Library Family History webinar. We're glad you could join us today. My name is Olivia Jewell and I'll be your host for this webinar. If you have technical difficulties during the webinar, please use the chat box and I can address your concerns. You are welcome to use the chat box during the webinar for comments, insights, and questions. However, all questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Our next webinar is on November 2nd with James Tanner. He will be giving a presentation entitled Researching New England Town Records from the 1600s to the Present. If you would like to access a previous webinar, please visit our webinar index on our website or search on our YouTube channel. All of our webinars are recorded and uploaded by the following Monday for your convenience. We also post links to recordings and other updates on our Facebook and Twitter accounts. For today's webinar, we are pleased to hear from Olivia Jewell, who will be giving a presentation on Discover, Gather, Connect, Ideas for Engaging in Family History as a Whole Family. Before we begin, here's a little bit about Olivia. Olivia is the founder of the Family Connections Experiment, a project focused on connecting families past and present and measuring the psychological benefits of increasing those connections. She is also a professional presenter for genealogy and other educational conferences and has served as a director and assistant director at her local Family History Center for 8 years. Amidst her busy schedule, she has learned to use her technological savvy and experience to teach busy people of all ages simple ways they can incorporate family history into daily life using modern technology to make it easy and fun. And we'll now turn the time over to Olivia if she's ready.
All right, thank you. And thanks for having me. It's always fun to teach at BYU, and I love to do it in person or online or however it works. So, and also thank you for putting these classes together. I like to check in whenever I can. So I don't know if this box is covering your guys' screen at all, so I'll move that. But yes, as Olivia said, I'm Olivia Jewell, and I have just a passion for technology and for family history and for bringing the two together in particular. And so I always love to teach anything related to the two. And so today we talked about just focusing on these three concepts of discovering our family history, gathering the records, and connecting with our family. Both living and deceased family. And so we're going to kind of break it down into that order. But the reality is you could break it down however you want. There's just so many wonderful tools out there that we can use to engage our whole families in family history. And I think that's where a lot of us struggle, because usually if you're watching this, you're probably one of those people in your family who loves family history and loves connecting and loves learning about your family. But sometimes it's a struggle to know how to get and bring in our other family members, those who we love, who we know could benefit from the connection. And so that's what this class is focused on. And I'll give us a small background because in the bio she read it, she talked about the 21-day family connections experiment. And that project is something that we started during COVID, but the whole goal of that was to just help people feel the power that connection can bring. And it was during the pandemic. So it was significant, the timing of it. But it was really cool to see the results that people had as they intentionally connected with their family more. And so hopefully today I'm going to give you a few ideas that will be exciting to you, that will maybe open up your mind to different things you could do with some of those family members who are a little harder to get doing family history, but could benefit from some of those benefits. Okay, so let's dig right in. All right. So we'll start with the discover section. And so we're going to focus and discovering what family history is out there. A lot of you may have already done this. A lot of you may have some new ideas that we'll add here. And I would say, feel free to add thoughts in the chat and get conversation going, because the more we learn from each other, the better. And I love hearing about new tools. And that's one of the reasons that I love to do Roots Tech. So I strongly encourage you to sign up for Roots Tech. There's a free virtual version, or if you happen to be in Salt Lake City, Utah in end of February, you can come in person and meet up and come reach out to me, and we'll have a lot of fun there because it's a great place to meet people. But it's a really great way to learn about new tools for discovering your family. So let's explore a couple today. I broke down and put 5 in each, but we'll kind of explore additional ones within each of those. So the 5 we're going to talk about is using the fan chart for discovering, using the Family Search Activities page, using all the stories, and that's a different app webpage, and then family search memories and visiting other genealogy sites. So for discovering, we want to focus on how are we going to use those tools for discovering our family history and making it something that we can engage in with our families. So the first one I want to point out, and it's a simple one. A lot of you, if you've gone onto Family Search before, you have used this chart. But a key with the Family Search fan chart is using it to engage some of those family members who aren't really excited. Sometimes it can be fun to make it, to almost gamify it a little bit. And so helping them to discover what's out there. And I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions here. So I'm going to click on it. It's at Family Search /tree/pedigree/fan chart, or you can just go to familysearch.org, log in, and then come over here to the tree view. I was gonna zoom in. Let me see. I just wanted to zoom in so that you can see my screen a little. There you go. So you come over here to the tree, and then you can see your chart over here. This will be under this. So you can change from landscape, portrait, fan chart, descendancy. But the key here is try to kind of gamify it to make discovering fun, to make it more intriguing. And so I actually like to use this filters feature right here that will let you toggle how many generations you're looking at, but you can also go in here and see which families have the most photos. If you click on photos, it's gonna color your chart, and you can see your key over here on the left side, and it'll show you the people with its dark yellow orange color are gonna have the most stories, and the people with less have less. So when you're in discovery mode and you're just trying to learn about what's out there, clicking on some of those dark yellow ones are going to be where you're going to find the most information and the most photos in this case, right? You can toggle through these different filters and see stories or sources, birthplaces. I think that often the birthplaces one can be really, really helpful when you're working with someone who's not naturally intrigued or interested in family history, but maybe they're really interested in traveling or in history. And so sometimes you can be like, well, hey, what country are you the most interested in? And then you can start digging and seeing what family on your tree fits in some of those countries. So it's all about using some of those tools that you're already using for genealogy or the family history that you're already doing, and thinking outside the box and learning how to use those for your family members. So play around with that one. It's a great one for connecting. Let me hurry and jump back to the slides, which they disappeared on me and I'm not sure where they went. Might have to pull them back open. Sorry about that. The second one, I can go off of memory, I think. I really want to get the slides open. I apologize. I'm not sure why they disappeared. That is odd. So give me one quick second. Oh, there that is. Okay. Now, the next one is family search activities. Now, a lot of you have gone to this page, and I think it's a great tool, and I'm going to reference it in more than one section here. But for this purpose, in the Discover section, some of these tools can be really, really great for helping people learn more. And the cool thing about Family Search is they're always coming up with new. You can see that they have some in beta right now as we speak, actually, that they're working on. And so it's really fun to come back and check. But one that I would encourage you to check that's a newer one, if you're trying to connect and discover things about your family history, well, actually, I'm going to point out this one while we're here. This Where Am I From one is one of the coolest activities that I can recommend, because if you have someone who likes maps, if you have someone who likes history, if you have someone who likes recipes, who is someone who likes anything about culture, this tool can be a great way to bring family in and help them to learn and discover things. So if they just like maps and they're like curious about a country, they can quickly, in this case, you can see it'll populate where your ancestors in your tree are found. And so it's a fun way to just go in and start digging. And I'll kind of give you an example. You dig in and you keep clicking and it keeps zooming in. And then you select one of your ancestors, and then you can keep clicking and go learn about them. It's going to give it to you, give you a digestible version of him, how you're related to him. You can see photos, stories, documents that have all been added to him, and then a timeline of his life. So it's a quick way to get to know an ancestor and kind of discover a few things there. Sorry, I want to go back into that one really fast because I do want you to see. Oh, that's done. Sorry about that. I just want to go back. I don't know why it's, oh, here, let me hit close here. Yes. Now you can also come up here, and that's where you can find under my heritage, you can start digging more into if that was a person who likes recipes or who likes culture or who likes some of those other fun things. They can come in here and go, oh, I have a little bit of Australian in me. I'm going to click on that and I can go learn about the foods there, the recipes, the social, all of these fun facts about this culture that I have a little bit of roots in. So it's a really great tool for thinking outside the box and utilizing. It's also great if you have kids or grandkids who are involved in school and they need to write a report about a country. Like, what a great way to get them excited about the country they're reporting on if they can find out that they have an ancestor or somebody that's connecting there. So helping them to have those discovery experiences where they're kind of connecting their family history in with those things they're learning in normal life, right? Or those things that excite them in normal life. So that's one tool I always point out. Obviously, I could go through all of these and teach you how they would help you have discovery experiences, but we won't take the time to do that. I just invite you to take the time to do that on your own and figure out which ones will reach your loved ones who you feel like could utilize those benefits. One of the new one I was referencing is over here. It's called New Memories. And I think this one's super cool because it shows you the new memories that are being added to Family Search right now. And so any that someone recently has uploaded. So someone recently uploaded this scrapbook of with my grandpa on it, and I can toggle right and left, scrolling through the different memories that have been added. I can see who added it. It's having a hard time loading right now, but it will load a link to the person in Family Search that added that. And then once I click on it, I can go in and see how they're related to me. I can chat with them. I can add them as a contact so that I can have conversations with them in the future. I can look at his other contributions and things like that. And so it's kind of a really fun way for me to not only discover who, what memories and stories and things like that are being added, but also who in my living family tree is actively engaged in family history. Like, I don't know this person, but he's only my third cousin, which isn't that far. And if I figure out which line he's in, we might have a lot of fun connecting. And so that gives me another discovery opportunity, which is exciting and fun. So that is just a couple, but I really recommend exploring more, and we'll talk about it a little more in some different sections as well. The next one is All the Stories. Now, this is an app that has been around forever, but I still recommend it and really like it because it really simplifies the process. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to know where to start. When you're in discovery mode, you're like, I do want to learn about my family, but I'm really not sure where to start. This app will actually take your family, it links to your family search tree. And then after you log in, sorry, I logged in before, but it didn't remember, I guess. Once you've logged in, it will load a tree, but then also, so it does similar to what the fan chart does, but then on the left-hand side, it populates all of the stories that are on that tree, and it tells you about how long each story will take to read. And so I know I have it open on another tab, so let's just open that one. It's right here. Okay. So you can see here once you log in, it has your little tree and the colored chart again. So you can see who has a lot of stories, but over here, it kind of tells you, oh, this story is going to take you about 2 minutes to read. This one's going to take 0. So they're super short. And you can scroll down and you can find a longer one or to use that when I'm just like, I'm going to read a story today about an ancestor. I'll just scroll down a few times and then just click on one and then start reading. And obviously this one's super long because it's 69 minutes. So I'm probably not going to do that when I'm in a hurry. But if I'm like, no, I really do want to learn about them, I could start that one and bookmark it on my phone, right? So that's another fun way to do that. All right. That's another great discovery tool. The next one is the Family Search Memories. Now, this is probably the very first discovery experience that I ever had. And so it has a special place in my heart. But I still think it's a really great tool, even though it was one of the originals that I think Family Search came up with. But just on the Family Search website, if you go to Memories, it will load a page. And sorry, I'm not sure why the internet is not being very fast. But if you go to Family Search and click on the Memories tab across the top, just like this one right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and select people because it's taking so long to load. Now, this was one of the first ways they started kind of connecting us with our living family, because other people were adding these memories to Family Search, and they compiled this gallery of images from people on our family trees. So as this loads, you'll see what it does is it loads all of the people in my tree that have a memory attached to them. So I can scroll through and I can say, oh yeah, I recognize that name, or I recognize that one, or oh, I don't recognize that one, right? And start clicking in and learning about that person. So let's pick one like right here, Matilda Barlow. So I can click on her and it's going to open up her person page on Family Search and show me her memories. And so now I can see all of the many memories that have been attached to her. I can go in and click on them and learn about them. I can go in and see how I'm related to her. I can view her tree and go learn and explore a little bit more about her. I really like that people gallery, because it's kind of like, rather than trying to go on a specific journey, it's just like, let's go see what there is out there, and let's just go learn a little bit about some of these people I'm related to. And I think it just makes for a really fun discovery experience. I'm reading the stories, picturing the photos, and all of those things. So, all right, sorry, I didn't mean to tap Heather. Okay, so that is one I definitely recommend checking out. And then the last one, other Jenny sites. I can't express to you enough how much Ancestry, Find My Past, and My Heritage have different stories and different records and different photos. There's so many people out there that don't use Family Search. And so I really recommend getting in on these other sites, looking for your ancestors, setting up your tree, and then seeing what other memories are out there. Because a lot of people will upload their stories and pictures to these other sites, and then you would never see them if you don't set up those same accounts. So checking those out and seeing what other stories and memories are out there is another great way. And honestly, just exploring each of those trees. When you're in discovery mode, I think it's really fun to just even go see how far up a line you can get, or what family members still have records attached. It's a great way to start like discovering like specifics about where they lived, who they were, what their careers were. Digging into the actual records that are attached to a person can be a really fun way to discover too. So making all of this a family affair and engaging with your whole family is the key. So as you're discovering, share it with people. Sit down for a few minutes and just say, hey, let's poke around. And I think, all the stories app or the Family Search Memories page, those are great ones for when you've got the whole family and you're like, hey, let's just learn something new. Let them pick which face you're going to click on, Don't have a prescribed plan. Just explore together and you'll have so much fun doing it. All right. The next section is Gather. Okay, Gather might be my favorite. Actually, no, I love them all. But I really love the gathering part of family history. I think it is one of the most overlooked areas, even though we need it the most. And that when I'm talking about gathering, I'm talking about gathering your family stories from the living people, the people who are alive now, to the people who have passed on, but the people who are still alive who have memories of them. I literally just came from a lunch with 3 of my second cousins, once removed, I believe. They were all my mom's cousins, so I have to think through that. So I guess they're first cousins once removed. But they were all sharing stories with me about my grandparents, Matilda and Frank Barlow. And it was so fun because they're all her cousins. And so they had direct memories of them and they had these great experiences. And so they were sharing just memories about her having puzzles on hand and games and even the way her floor creaked, things like that. But it's so fun because it brings those 2 ancestors to life for me. And so when we get into this gather mode, like sometimes the people we know, we're not used to thinking about why these stories and these memories would matter. And so we just really have to look at it and say, what would I want to know about my great grandparents, and save that about our grandparents for our grandkids, right? And so on and so forth. So just there's so many different ways we could go with Gather. So I put together some of my favorite tools, but continue to add some comments in the chats as you have additional thoughts and ideas. So the first one is going to sound kind of funny, but record hints, and we'll talk about that in a second. So record hints is my first suggestion. Interviews, figuring out different ways to interview, journaling your own memories as well as your own experiences. And then Family Search Memories app, again, using it in a gathering mode. And then scanning projects. So let's dig into each of those a little bit more. All right, so with record hints, many of you have seen how to do a record hint. I'm going to go to the web page. Oh, I thought I was going to. I guess that link is not wanting to work. We will just go ourselves. I'm going to go to the website really fast so that you can see what it looks like. But I'm going to go back into that concept. When we want to engage the whole family, you're going to want to go into this mode of like, how can I make this exciting? How can I make it so that people want to engage with me? So really fast. So how you get there is familysearch.org, log in, here's your main page, and then you click on this hints button right here. Okay, once you're here, it's going to have your list, and you can see here I've got all of these different record hints. So this blue icon, if you don't know, is a record hint, which basically is like a gold mine in Family Search. It means that you have found that there is records that belong to that AI has discovered that they believe that George Pickering has a record that's probably him. Now it needs me as a human being to go in and analyze that data and decide whether it actually is. It's a really simple task. It's something that I teach teens how to do all the time, and they're very capable, especially as they're learning, it teaches them good deductive reasoning skills. It teaches them more about records. It teaches them about localities. And what types of information is on record. So like learning how to do record hints is one of the greatest things you can teach a new person coming into family history. And so if they're not interested off the bat, which I could see why they maybe wouldn't be, turn it into a game. Show your family how to do this, and then say, okay, let's see who can attach the most record hints in, a week, or let's see who can find the most records to go on this specific individual, or who can find a new person who wasn't in Family Search before because they were missing, because we didn't have some complete information based off of missing records and things like that, right? So turn it into some version of a game, and people get more excited. Now, I was going to show you on my phone, but right before the webinar started, it quit connecting. Let me hurry and see if I can get it to connect, because I wanted to show you that on the app, you can also do it. I don't know why it was literally working until she turned it over to me, and then all of a sudden it didn't work. So it doesn't want to connect. I'm not sure why. Okay. So I won't show you, but on the app, on the Family Search app, you can go under My Contributions. When you log into the app and then open the menu, there's a link that says My Contributions, and that will show you how many sources you've attached, how many memories you've attached, and things like that. So once again, you can turn that into a game. You can say, oh, look, I've attached the most sources, and that's how you can like measure and check and see how many everybody's been doing. So just kind of a fun way to make record hinting and gathering the information for your family tree a little bit more of an all in the family type of activity. Okay, the next one is interviews. This one is really fun, and I'm really mad the phone's not connecting for this one, because I was going to show you a couple of things on that. But basically, what I want to recommend with interviews is a few things. So I'll list them twice just to be good. But there's so many apps out there that you can use for interviewing, and so many different approaches you can take to this. But obviously, if you have the time and you're willing to go sit down with grandma or grandpa or your parents or your cousins, and you have the opportunity as well as the equipment, like that is awesome and ideal. And some of my most favorite memories have been when I've done that with my great aunts and uncles and my grandparents and my husband's grandparents. Just there's something super bonding about those experiences. So I absolutely recommend going and interviewing, sitting down and having those conversations. But if that's not in your plausible world, because you're on different sides of the country, or your timing's you're just a busy person, there are so many different ways that you can think outside the box to accomplish some interviewing, which would be gathering, right? We're gathering our stories through interviews. So number one would be just getting an audio call recording app on your phone and making a phone call and having that conversation via phone. That would be one option. I have one that's called ACR. It's just an app called ACR, and you can record phone conversations as you use that. Another one that I really recommend that I think is a great tool is Marco Polo. So last year at Roots Tech, the owner of Marco Polo, the founder of the company and CEO, Vlada, came and gave an incredible keynote address about Marco Polo and using it for connection. But really, the sky is the limit with how you can use that Marco Polo app. It's a video messaging app, so it works similar to texting, where you can send a message and then they watch it on they read it on their time and back and forth. Only with Marco Polo, it's a video app, and so you can leave a message and then they come back and they watch your video and then they record you a video and it sends back and forth. I love it for everything. I use it all the time, but I love it a lot for interviewing, because I can use it. So I'll send a message to my sisters. I have a group where it's me and my sisters and my parents, and then I will ask them questions about us growing up. Like, what was our favorite vacation? This week I asked them, what was your favorite bedtime story that dad told us when we were growing up? And each of us had different answers. So I answered, and then another answered, and another answered. And as we answered, it like inspired more memories. And so that's a fun way to do it. Now my dad's still alive, so I'm going to encourage him to take the time to actually tell each of those stories on that Marco Polo feed, because how valuable will that be to posterity to be able to hear those stories from grandpa themselves, right? So I really encourage using that. There's another app that one's called the Marco Polo app. And I'll put my contact information at the end, because I do have like links to some of these things, and I can give you more access. But the other one is Keepsake. It was made for journaling your babies, but I even put my husband into it. Not all the questions relate, but I just put in all of my kids and my husband, and it sends me questions about them. And so it's encouraging me to record stories about them. And that actually probably would work. Me answering that one is probably a better idea for the journaling section, but it also works kind of as an interview too, right? So I feel like I jumped ahead on Keepsake. Put that one in the next section. But Marco Polo, the ACR, and then Storyworth. Storyworth is my other very favorite. And that one will send emails with questions as often as you tell it to, weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, or once a month, things like that. And you get to select the questions, and it has a ton of really incredible questions. It will send the question via email. They can type in the answer and reply, or they can have it call them and they can leave a voicemail. And so then it captures their audio recording voice too. So it's a great way to get kind of an interview without actually being able to go and be present in their presence. I'm trying to think if there's any others. There's so many different ideas out there. Think outside the box. Think of modern tools that you're already using. You could use social media to do this too. Just once again, make it fun. Gamify it a little bit. That's what our young people are loving these days. So try to think of how you could just kind of make it intriguing and fun. Which then leads to journaling. And just once again, think outside the box. How can I be capturing? Of course, we want to handwrite our journals. Like, there's so much value in that. So if you have the time and you're willing to do that, like, awesome and great. But I encourage you to still be gathering your story along with gathering all these other stories and recording your memories as well. There's so many different journaling apps out there. I personally use Journey. But and the reason I like that one, it's available on my computer, on a tablet, on a phone, like any device that I'm on, I can access it, and I can type in or swipe in or audio record my journal entries. I can tag them and make them easier to find later, and things like that. So I really do like using those tools. I also use Marco Polo for journaling, because I just have one that I started that is called Just Me. And then I'll record a story, because I'm so used to using Marco Polo for communicating with my friends and family. So record a little message to just me, and then it's recording my journal entries. And then that Keepsake app is the other one that I really recommend here, where it's meant to be a baby book, but it just sends you a question about your family each day, and then you can reply via text. So it's super fast, super simple. It's already part of your regular day, because you're already used to responding to text, and then it just saves all of that, and you can put it into a book or different things like that. And that's it for journaling. The next one is the Family Search Memories app. And you know what? I'm going to try one more time, because I really want to show this one to you, because enable Wi-Fi. Did I turn off my Wi-Fi? Let me just see if this works. I'll try scanning on my phone and see if that'll work. But basically for the Family Search Memories app, most of you probably already have it on your phones. But maybe it'll work. I've just never had this happen, but of course, when we're trying to do a webinar, it's going to do it. It says it's connected on my phone. I just really wanted to show you it, but on the Memories app, oh yes, it's going to work, you guys. Great. Okay, on the Memories app, let me open this. Here we go. Okay, Memories. All right, so looks like this. One of my very favorite tools for gathering is this Memories app, because you have it in your pocket. We all have our phones in our pockets at all times, right? I mean, it's pretty much always there. Well, when you're about your normal life, you go to visit your aunt on the way to somewhere, or you are at a family party or Sunday dinner, or whatever gatherings are taking place. This is a great way to capture so many different versions of memories, and that's why I love it. So if you click this plus button down here, you'll see it opens up. You can add a photo, you can record audio, you can write a story, or you can add a document. So let's just say you're at grandma's house for dinner and she starts telling you this story and she shows you this heirloom. She's like, oh yeah, you ask her what this little piece is on her mantle, right? She pulls it down and she shows it to you, and then she tells you a whole story about it. Right in this app, you can collect that story in that one moment. Like, it doesn't have to be this complicated thing. So you can click on that add photo and you can take a quick picture right there from your camera, or you can add it from a file if you took it earlier. You can then add a story by typing it in right here and adding the pictures that you took right in right there. Or if you have her in the mode of telling you the story, you can click on record audio and just click begin recording, and it will record a story right then and right there. The other thing is, let's say you didn't have an heirloom that inspired you to have that conversation. What about you're with grandma, you're like, I should start recording stories, but I don't even know where to start. Open that up, click the record button, and here is a list of questions that Family Search recommends asking. What's a memorable moment from your childhood, grandma? And then just start recording, and you might have like a really incredible experience. Now, I believe, yes, you can record up to 5 minutes. So I just want you to be aware of that one, because grandma will probably talk for more than 5 minutes, and that is awesome. Just so you don't accidentally lose some of it. But yeah, I think that this tool alone can be a really, really great tool for gathering stuff on the go, because most of us are not planning to have opportunities. It just kind of falls into our lap. So if we have this app on our phones, Family Search Memories app, then it's going to make that a lot simpler. So, all right. And then the last one, yes, I love this one, is scanning. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but I have a passion for scanning, because I don't know how many of you are the inheritors of all things, but I definitely have become that. But some families, I'm not. In some of my branches of my family tree, I'm not the one. But if I can go and digitize the things that the member of the family who did inherit all of those things are, then I get access to them too. So to me, being able to scan is such a huge part of the gathering process. And frankly, it's one of the most powerful to me experiences is handling some of the things that your ancestors handled, or seeing actual pictures of them, seeing their handwriting, touching the paper or the journal that they actually worked on. I love those experiences, getting to be with the items or walk in the places or be in their homes. Things like that can be so cool. But the key is we need to digitize those so that we can continue to share it, because as time passes, all of those things are going to fade. It's just a reality, right? So making sure you have a plan. How am I going to digitize stuff? What is the process? If I'm the inheritor of all things in my family, then I want to work through and have like a preservation plan. If I am the one who is just going over to my aunt's house, then yeah, I have that Family Search Memories app on my phone, but I also want to make sure that I am working through and figuring out how I'm going to document, or how I'm going to digitize all those things. So maybe I find a library or a family search center nearby that I can take the things to, or I personally have a scanner. I just bought a photo scanner because there's enough family members who have photos that I want to be able to do that. Another thing I have purchased for this is a shot box. I actually could show you. I don't know how much anyone can see, but well, a shot box is I can't see what you guys can see, so I don't want to well, maybe I can. I have a shop box just right here in my office that is just, it's a light box, and you can put almost anything in it. You can put books, you can put heirloom items, just anything that you would want to photograph, but someone's not going to necessarily give you. And it's awesome because it's portable. So you can just take it with you anywhere. It folds up into this great box, and you can take it with you all these different places. And so that way, let's say, like, so for me, it was my great aunt Mame. She inherited all of these wonderful things. Well, I just went to her house, spent a weekend, and we went through everything. We scanned all of her pictures, and we took pictures of books, and we imaged everything we could. And it was such a fun experience, because not only did that experience of scanning like bring joy to me, but it brought up all these stories that we got to talk about, and she shared with me, and I got to document more of that, which was really, really a great experience. So planning scanning projects, thinking who has the stuff in our family, making an effort to make sure it's getting scanned, and then obviously taking it that next step and adding it to Family Search, putting it places where it's shareable, putting it on social media to engage and get your whole family involved. And obviously scanning can be a really great way to bring other people in, especially if you're finding letters and documents. Get your family to help you transcribe those things so that it's more easily readable to everybody. There's so many ways you can use scanning as a great way to engage your whole family in gathering. So yeah, once again, gamify it. Encourage everyone to find something that's valuable to their family, scan it and share it in the next week. Everyone who does gets an ice cream at the end of the week, right? Something like that. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just encourage all of these things among your family. Okay, that brings us all the way around to connect. So connecting with living and deceased family. So I love this one. This one I have like a passion for, because I really, really feel like a lot of times as family historians, we tend to only worry about like the genealogy charts and adding to those charts and those different things. We're worried about records, right? We're focusing so much on that we don't really take time to like bring it all back full circle and connect all of the generations. And I kind of love, the, what are they called? They're like graphics and it shows all the people holding hands, like just like little cutouts of like all the stick figures holding hands for like a long ways. I should do a graphic of it. But if you kind of picture that, and then just like highlight you as one of them, and all the people to the right represent your ancestors, and all the people to the left represent your posterity. And if you picture yourself in that chain, like how do you connect the right side to the left side? How can you bring them together? And that's what this whole section is about. So the 5 things that I'm going to point out in this section is the Family Connections Experiment, BYU Family History Technology Labs, Family Search activities again, and then sharing the stories either online or in print, putting it into something digestible and shareable, and then do it yourself games. So gamifying it again, some fun ways you can gamify it. So the first one is Family Connections Experiment, and I told you a little bit about it at the beginning, but it is a free resource. It's connections-experiment.com. You can go, and basically the whole intention of this website, of this project, was to connect family. And so the kind of elevator pitch slogan that we have is, oh gosh, I'm going to blank. Basically a psychological experiment exploring the benefits of connecting family past and present. And so with it, we created 21-day plans, and we're going to visit the website real quick. Why are none of the URLs working? That is so odd. Okay. I did test them at one point, but I must have done something wrong. Okay. So it's connections-experiment.com. And basically what it is it's a compilation of so the idea behind it was, if you connect with your family for 21 days, family past and present for 21 days, will you feel better emotionally at the end? So with each plan, you take a survey at the beginning about your emotional well-being, and then you do 21 days of connecting, and then you take a survey at the end. That was how this experiment was born. It was all completely informal. It wasn't an official scientific experiment, but it was a fun way to kind of discover. And what we had was 75% of people who started that and reported their final report said they had a significant increase in mood over that 21 days. So to us, it was like, okay, this is great. Connecting with family is important and it's significant. So what we did is we created a connections idea generator. So it will give you a fun way to connect with family, living or past. And all of the ideas on the connections idea generator are 5 minutes or less. So if you click this, it's just going to say, all right, we're going to 5-minute or less idea. Click surprise me, and it's going to give you different ideas. And it has hundreds of different ideas for you to connect in 5 minutes or less. You can see as I kind of click through those. Or if you select this choose connection, that's going to take you on a little path of doing one of those 21-day plans rather than just getting a quick 5-minute idea. So those are two great ways to start. But the thing I really wanted to show you was the resources. And if you click here, it has the connections idea generator at the top, but it also has some different games to kind of gamify the process, right? To make it fun. This Hunt for Connections game is a fun way to connect with family all over. And it basically is like a virtual game that you can play together, even though you're in different areas. And it's just a fun way for connecting with some of your living family. Oh, and the questions that you use can make it more family history related or more just getting to know each other. You can kind of adjust how it works. The speed interview generator is one of my favorites. I love it because you can utilize it for different sections of things that we started talking about in that last section. But the key is all about connection. So if you're going to do some interviews with some of your family, you can pop in here at family dinner and be like, hey, I'm going to answer this, and then just record the audio and say, ready, set, go. You hit get started, and then it gives you a timer, and you have to see how many of these you can answer, or it's up to you which approach you want to take. But basically, it's going to, every time you click next question, it's just going to give you more questions. So I encourage you to get on and try that and play with it and just utilize it. They're all very simple tools. Like it was a total volunteer project, so it's not like over the top wahoo, but they're really great tools for helping you connect more with your family that's living or deceased, because a lot of the questions will have to do with those who have passed on. So it's helping you connect in that way. And the future, if you're recording these things, you're connecting with them as well, right? And the last tool, there's a lot on here, but the other tool I want to show you is this dinner conversations generator. And the reason that I love this one is because it's something you can play. And this was actually built off of an IKEA commercial that was on TV years ago. During the holiday season. And the idea was they showed a commercial of a family and they asked them questions about each other. And if you couldn't answer it, you had to get up and leave the table. And it was impactful. I don't know if any of you remember that commercial, but it had like impact. I think it went around the family history world a lot. See, we need to know our stories. But yeah, what about how well can we answer those questions for ourselves, right, at our dinner? So open this app up. You can pull it up on your phone just as easy. Click get started. Once again, it's got a timer, and just go through and see who's still sitting at the table by the end, right? And it just asks questions about the people at your family table. So I think that's a really fun one. Once again, record the answers. Have one person pass the phone around to have another person turn on an audio recorder on their phone or video it. Why not, right? It's a great way to be documenting those stories as you go. And then I guess I'll show one more, and that's just the make my memes. These are kind of fun because they just are fun ways of sharing. It's a good way of connecting with family that maybe you're not going to connect with anyway. So sharing these on social media. Maybe you have a lot of extended family that you're friends with on social media. It's a good way to come in and say, oh, look, I have this family heirloom, and you can put a little story about it and then share it. And it's a cute, fun way to share with your family. And once again, all of those are free. So I definitely recommend checking out all of those tools. Another great connection tool is BYU Family History Technology Labs. So that is this one, and you can find it at fhtl.org is the URL. But what's great is this website has so many great tools. And once again, just like Family Search's discovery activities page, it has so many different tools that are regularly being added. So you can see over here, they've got them categorized in research. So you can use these for helping you research or helping you to help other people research by like indexing and reverse indexing. Play, all of these are great, 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 great connection tools and discovery tools. They could go under both sections for us, right? Because when you get everyone playing these games, they're going to be discovering their ancestors and connecting with them at the same time, right? So the ancestor games, I want to point that one out because it has a whole bunch of different options. You can create matching games, ancestors, coloring pages, things like that. But the reason I really want to point it out is because if you wanted to create a little book for grandkids or cousins for Christmas, and you can make all of it family history related. You can make coloring pages, so you could insert and put like a little story with it. My cousins that I was just barely with, we were talking about doing a family reunion this summer, and I was like, oh, we could make a little bingo and have the coloring, so they would color each ancestor in as they hear their names talked about at the family reunion, right? It's just things like that. A family history puzzle, word scramble, but you can just use all of these great tools. They're already connected to your family search tree. So you just put in the main starting person, their person ID number from family search, and then you create this entire experience. You can create all sorts of games thinking outside the box. Jeopardy is one of my very favorites. Everybody loves Jeopardy. Like, they think playing it as groups is so fun. You can make however many teams you want. And so this is an awesome one for a family reunion, right? Like, break into teams and see who can get the most points and then have a winner at the end, right? A Wheel of Family Fortune, same thing. You're trying to guess an ancestor's name, and you can then go after, because they do give you a hint, like this person was born in this year. After you have solved the puzzle, you can then go learn more about that ancestor. So you're taking a game, but you're making it a way for your family to connect with those ancestors. And there's all sorts of tools like that in here. So definitely come in here and explore and connect, help your family connect. All right. The next one is back to the family search activities page. And I had a couple that I wanted to point out, and I think it's still open. Maybe I did close it. I had a couple that I wanted to point out that I think would be really good ones for actually connecting with your, I must have typed it in wrong. Okay, we'll just go to this one. So this one is Connect. We already talked about Where Am I From, which I think is a really good one, but one of the best connecting ones is Compare a Face. I love this one because people get excited to see how they look like their ancestor. So all you have to do, I don't know if it'll let me because I'm using my camera for Zoom. Yeah, it's not going to let me, but they take a quick photo on your phone or on the computer, and then it will tell you how closely, what percentage you look like different ancestors. And so you can see right away. And it's funny because oftentimes it will be like, I look just like the most like my great grandpa, right? And so everyone laughs and giggles, but it's a great way to get younger kids involved and go, look, you do look like her. Look, you have her eyes. And it connects them, right? There's that power of connection, that power of feeling like you belong to someone else. You're bigger than someone else. Than just yourself. It makes you feel like there's more to you, right? I feel like it's just like this connection that's hard to describe until you've experienced it. So giving them that opportunity, connecting them with famous relatives is fun too, like people they've heard about in history and seeing where they fit into it, right? Mayflower relatives or different scientists, whatever that ancestor or whatever that relative's interests are, dig into that famous relatives and see how they are related to some of those people that they already admire. Doing things like that can be great ways to help them have discovery experiences. And then, connection experiences. And then one of them that I love is this Ancestors Challenge. It's just a game. It's like 10 questions. It's a quiz. But if you answer incorrectly, it gives you hints and allows you to go read and learn a little bit more about your ancestors as you're learning about them. So it's a fun way to not only connect with them, but learn more all at the same time. And all of these tools in this All About Your Ancestors section of this page are awesome for helping them connect to history and different things like that. Like Mayflower, who do I have that was on the Mayflower? Juneteenth, discover your ancestors when the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. There's military, people who served in the military, this one is a newer one, and I think it's super cool what they experienced as far as challenging times. We recently went through a pandemic. Our kids can relate to that. Everyone on earth can relate to that, right? Well, some of our ancestors went through challenging times. If you click on this, I'll just show you this one because it is pretty cool. It's similar to the other one I showed you earlier, only this one, it populates an entire timeline down here and shows you what the experiences were that they were going through. So if I click through, I have a couple that have lots of them. This one, he's on all of them: World War I, the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, and World War II. And then as I scroll down, it tells me a little bit more about each of those things. And oh, look, wearing masks. We can relate to that, right? So it's really a fun way for them to discover, but connect at the same time with their family. And there's so many, like I said, when we first showed this section, I wanted to show different ones for different reasons, but there's so many different tools on this page that are going to be great. And once again, that's familysearch.org activities or familysearch.org/discovery. All right, the last couple, this second to last one is share online or in print. Okay, I am going to show this. I don't think people who are watching live are going to be able to see it, but I still want to show it because so you can make books. I've got a book of my grandmother, and I made this book years ago for my mother for Christmas or Mother's Day, I think. And it has been like a huge treasure in our family. As you're doing the discover section and the gather section, think of ways that you could put it out in ways that people can use it to connect. And there's so many different ways out there, and I will list some, but just to get your juices flowing, but just think outside the box. Books are like a go-to, right? This is just a beautiful book that you can use and show to your family, and they can read, and they can see her handwriting, and they can see her pictures and things like that. But you can do the same thing by putting it into a website. You could create a Google Photos album. You can create a web page through Adobe Spark. You can create videos, montages, right? Things that people can watch. Some things that I've also done have been like creating cartoons through some of the online programs that are out there that will allow you to create like a cartoon out of a story, right? My daughter helped me make a comic out of a story from our ancestors webpage. There's so many different ideas out there, but it's just all about thinking outside the box and what does this family member that needs some connection in their life love? How can I bring family history into that and help them discover it through that and connect with their ancestors through that? I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I wanted to point out there. I don't think so. Okay. We're wrapping up here. Okay. The last one is the do-it-yourself games. So there are so many different games out there, and so many that I've seen, but even today I had the thought, wouldn't it be fun to print your fan chart? Just print it. And I tried to find mine, but I can't find it anywhere. And then just make a game out of your fan chart. Get a little token and a dice, and then roll, just decide how it would move them, right? And then have them roll, and they work their way up the fan chart. And each generation, they get more points if they know something about them beyond what's on the fan chart, right? Or if they look it up, they get half the points, right? And share it with everyone. And they have until their next turn to do it, right? I mean, it would be so simple to just gamify your family history and make it something that's interactive and fun. And that can engage everyone, because those people who don't like doing maps might like the game part, right? So it's just kind of like looking at it that way. There's a couple of games out there that I like to recommend. Like, one's the game of genealogy, and that one's a fun one to play. Teaches you a little bit more about researching and doing things like that. This one is really fun. This one is it's packaged. I can't remember the name of it. It's Roots and Branches, I think. And my kids really love this one. It's called Your Family Tree the Game, and it's just like a board game. But you answer questions about your ancestors as you go, and you get more points, and there's different sections, different types of questions that you can answer, and you work your way through it. And it's a really fun one. I've seen a lot of people do like Don't Eat Pete concept with ancestors, or a Jenga puzzle. You just put different questions on each one. I have a ball one that I'll do, and a lot of times when I'm teaching family history classes, just take a beach ball and write different questions about ancestors and relatives around on the ball, and wherever they catch it, wherever their right thumb is, they have to answer that question, things like that. So it's all about bringing it into perspective, making it so that anyone can enjoy a little bit of it, and help them to have an experience where they feel the power of connection, and then they can then turn around and maybe it'll inspire them to start digging a little more. All right, this is my last slide. I just put my contact information up there because, like I said, my very favorite thing is family history combined with technology and helping other people to have really great discovery experiences. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to help. One other thing that I would actually say is reach out if you have any interest. We are doing a 21 week countdown on Marco Polo right now. 21-week countdown to Roots Tech. And so every week we're just doing a different challenge of connecting with our family. And so, yeah, this week's is learning something new about an ancestor, and we give some tech tools, and it's just for fun. It was just something that I got excited about when I realized Roots Tech was 21 weeks away. So if you want to reach out, I can give you a link to join that Sharecast, that then you can learn a little bit more about using family history and things like that. So hopefully within all of that, you got a few ideas. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And that's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Olivia. We do have one question in the Q&A. Debbie says, I have scanned lots of journals, diaries of my grandparents. What do I do with them?
Oh, I love that. So, okay, two things. So when I scan the journals, like I always save them on my own computer so that I have a copy. It's hard because they're bigger files if it's all in a PDF. But you can generally, I would say, have it somewhere like shareable, like a Google Drive folder or a Dropbox folder that you can share with anyone and share the link to it. Anything, if it's not too big, I would definitely add it to Family Search. Like everyone's going to want a copy of that. If it is too big, maybe just put it into that shared folder and then share the link on Family Search under sources. But definitely get it, share. And then if you want to transcribe it, obviously that's a huge gift to everybody because it will make it searchable and readable and all of those things. Is that the question? Was it what to do with the digital version of it or the original? I just realized.
Oh yeah, she says yes. Thank you so much, Olivia. I really enjoyed your thoughts and ideas.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm always happy to share.
Okay, I don't think we have any other questions. We can go ahead and close.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. We hope you will join us for our next webinar, which is on November 2nd with James Tanner. He will be giving a presentation entitled Researching New England Town Records from the 1600s to the Present. A recording of this webinar will be made available next week. You can view that on our YouTube channel or on our website. If you have any comments or questions, you can always email us at fhl_webinars@byu.edu or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you and have a wonderful week.